Yo, my dudes, what is going on? Quite a bit to digest here today. I guess you could call this Bike of the Week, but in reality, you guys that follow me, we haven't really been doing Bike of the Week, which is kind of a good thing. I know, I like to put you guys in the spotlight and everything, but the reason that I haven't been making these Bike of the Week videos is because we've just had a lot of stuff going on in the shop, that's awesome, man. I'm really thankful to have all the work that I've had, especially during this Corona stuff. I know a lot of people are stuck at home with nothing to do. A lot of people are out of their job, and it's just a nightmare. It really is. So I feel really, really lucky that I've been able to provide a lot of content for you guys. When all of this started, I actually had 3 projects going at once. We have Project 250R, of course, which a lot of guys have been asking about, and that's no problem. We're going to get that rolling again. I'm actually going to address that in a small video in the next day or so, just kind of giving you guys an update on the 250R, because all the momentum from Project 250R has just completely halted, and it's really nobody's fault. It's just we're waiting for parts. Waiting for parts for that build has really been the Achilles heel of that entire series. Of course, we also have Project Maverick, which has pretty much been in the spotlight. That project, luckily, went really quickly. We got all the parts for it. It's like 99% done. For you guys to follow me on Instagram, which is at MichaelSabo350, definitely give me a follow if you haven't already. I posted a short video the other day showing where it's at. It's almost done. We're just waiting for the belt temperature sensor, and once we put that on, that project's done, and we're going to be ripping that possibly even next weekend. And then lastly, we have Project YZ125, which we initially started kind of with a budget, and that just kind of got halted because Project Maverick has just been in the spotlight right now. But like I said, we had a lot of stuff going on, and because of all that, I just kind of haven't had the time to do these subscriber ride videos. So I did want to stop and make a couple shout outs here, and I do have a really sweet bike that I'm going to be featuring today, and it's more than just a bike. I'm going to put a picture of the bike right here, and you can see it's fresh, man. I really like the vintage design on this bike. I think that Grant did an excellent job just really making it's like a simple build that just pops. It's nothing crazy. It's just a really well designed and built bike, and I really like that. And the thing that's really special about this is just that Grant and his family are really into racing, and it's a very family oriented thing for them. And his niece is actually going to be in the spotlight for this video as well, as she has done quite a bit of racing in her life, and she's even qualified for the Loretta Lynn Nationals twice. Pretty amazing story. So that's all going to be in this video, and I just want to give everybody a huge thank you. We just got to 35,000 subscribers. Things are really popping off, man. The channel is definitely growing really fast, and I'm super happy about it. All right, guys, so let's get into it here. The bike that we are going to be featuring is a 1996 Suzuki RM250. So this bike was in the works for a long time, man. So Grant Hutchins is the owner. So he bought this thing in 2001 when it was, I guess, like a fairly new bike. That'd be like buying a 2015 right now. It's still a modern bike, and it was in pretty bad shape. So they tore this thing down. You can see right here, this is what it looked like when they first bought it. And he tore it down. They found that the reeds were cracked. The clutch had completely exploded, and it ran. He got it working. He took it to the dunes, and he ripped it for a little bit. It was just kind of like a regular old RM250, and it kind of got pushed by the wayside when Grant bought his first quad, 2005 YFZ 450. Give you guys a little bit of details on that thing because I know you guys get interested in stuff like that. So he did a little bit of work to that and set it up for the dunes where he typically rides. And Grant just preferred riding the 4 wheels as opposed to 2 wheels. So that YFZ 450 just kind of, went into the spotlight, and that's what he was riding. The RM got pushed to the side. So the YFZ had a ported head, stage 3 cams, high compression piston, new crank, all new bearings in the motor. You put a +4 swing arm on it, FCI intake, and a full monster exhaust system. Plus, he also had it dyno tuned, and I do have a small video of it here on the dyno. I don't know the actual numbers. Grant, maybe you can comment down below, and we will tag that comment with the actual amount of horsepower that this thing made. But it looks like a solid YFZ. But moving forward, as we're not actually featuring that YFZ in this video, move forward to 2017. So he's had this bike for like 16 years. And he was on family vacation in Orlando with his brother. And he's talking with his brother about vintage racing and kind of like bouncing around the idea of maybe doing it himself. And he asked his brother, he said, what's the cutoff year for vintage racing? It was 1996. So the wheels started turning, gears were moving in his head and whatnot, and he's like, dude, his brother was mechanically inclined and whatnot. He said, dude, I have this RM. Would you build the RM and so I can race it. So his brother agreed to that, and between the two of them, they ended up building this RM250, and they did a hell of a job. So I'll start off here and showing you this stator that they pulled out. He said the stator was in such bad shape that he and his brother couldn't even believe that this RM ran. It was rewired by the previous owner, there were butt splices on it, and the wires were actually running incorrectly, but it still somehow ran, but it was in horrible shape. So the spark was probably really weak. So they sent that out to Ricky Stator, and these are the pictures when it came back. You can see it looks brand new. It's funny, Grant says, so that got sent off to Ricky Stator, and I won't even lie, I was shocked how nice of a job they did on it. So you can see right here the pictures. I mean, well, the one picture anyway, it literally just looks like a brand new stator. So Ricky Stator for the win. So as we move on here, you can see they freshened up the motor mounts. It looks like they just cleaned the paint off them and polished them. These are Boyson factory covers. You got them for both sides. These are like one of the best looking covers, in my opinion, that you can put on any dirt bike or quad. It's like a non-performance part that makes the quad or bike just look faster. They're just trick looking covers. They look awesome. Then of course he upgraded the wheels. He got these blue Pro wheels, and he also had the hubs Cerakoted. It looks like it's kind of like a gunmetal color. And of course he got new spokes. All goes together really nice. Looks like a really clean wheel setup. Pro wheel is a great dirt bike wheel. That is one thing that I definitely know. Got brand new tires on there, and he also got these wave rotors. I believe they're Galfers. They may or may not be, but they're Galfer style wave rotors. They definitely improve braking, and they look awesome. Now he also had the suspension rebuilt. He didn't just have it rebuilt, he had it completely revalved and everything, as he was going to be racing this in the Vintage Series. So he had them rebuilt by KFG Motorsports with custom Racetech springs, custom valving done to it, so that it could meet his needs and his rider weight and riding style and whatnot. Now as you can see as we're moving along here, he's got brand new Polysport plastics on here, a must for any dirt bike restoration. He put GPI radiators on. The frame and swing arm were powder coated black. It's coming together here, looking really, really good. Here's a good shot of the exhaust. He's got an FMF Fatty on there with the FMF Shorty exhaust. Really coming together nicely. Almost done. Only thing he needs is the shrouds on there. I'm going to show you a quick first start video. Now here's where he really makes this bike a custom bike, and you know, it goes from just being a nice build to a totally custom bike. And he had these graphics that I believe he designed them, and he had them custom printed. They are a vintage style graphic, even more vintage than the 96. And you're going to see it actually matches the RM125 that's going to be that I'll show you a little later in this video. It's a 79, and between the two of them sitting next to each other, they match, and it looks really cool. So he had these designed. He's got his name Hutchins on there, and he's got 111. And the reason he chose 111 is one, because it's the number that his niece runs, and because it's the same number that Greg Albertin used to run. So Greg Albertin was a Suzuki factory rider, and I actually was not familiar with him until I watched this video, or until I talked to Grant. And as you watch this video here, you can see, I noticed that his transitions from jump to jump are just like ultra smooth. So this guy was probably an excellent rider. But that is one of the inspirations for the 111 on Grant's build. And let me show you here. These graphics just look awesome once they're on the bike. So you can see them on the plastics. And here they are on the bike. This is the picture that really makes the bike pop the most. I mean, when I saw this picture and I was like, dude, we got to feature this for Bike of the Week. And then when I started talking to Grant and I heard the story about like his niece and everything, that's when I decided this would be a great bike to feature and story to feature for Bike of the Week. So you can see right here, everything just flows really, really nicely. I'm typically not a fan of blue rims or colored rims in general. Usually I like black rims, silver rims, or gold rims. One of those three. But in this particular scenario with the graphics and the color scheme, I think Grant did a really tasteful job, and he pulled it off perfectly. I was really like shocked with the way that this bike looks. I think it was a good impression, I guess. It left a really good impression on me. I think it's excellent. Now here's a couple pictures of the two RMs sitting next to each other. So the one on the right is the 79 RM125. That's actually his niece's. She got into vintage racing as well, so she has the 79 RM125. They bought that bike, did a couple mods to it, had the suspension rebuilt by KFG. Apparently that thing runs awesome, and I will show you his niece Khari ripping that in a little bit here, but you can also see the 250 sitting right next to it. And Grant said at their local track, most guys run CRs or YZs, and they don't really see too many RMs, so especially vintage ones like these. And he said they get a lot of looks, especially when they're under the tent. A lot of people come over and they want to check them out. So Grant, you definitely did an awesome job on this build. I think it looks terrific. You guys will have to let me know in the comment section below if you like this build, if you do it differently, or if you would have chosen a different platform. You guys let me know in the comment section below, but I think it came out excellent. So Grant, thank you for taking the time to send these pictures in. Alright guys, so now time for the second portion of this story. It actually revolves around Grant's niece, Khari. So a lot of people call her Khari by the way that it's spelt, and that really pisses her off. Be like people calling me Meek. So her name's Khari, and being involved with a family that just has racing in their blood, she caught the bug really early on. So you can see here, these are some pictures of her on a Tri-Z at a very young age, a little three-wheeler. So she was riding that thing around. She moved into ATVs, and she did some racing on the ATVs, and that's where she learned a lot about racing. She learned a lot about how to control, passing, and just the basics of a racing format. So she did some flat track racing at their local flat track, and like I said, she learned a lot of stuff doing that, and then she got a little bit tired of it, moved to two wheels, ripping a YZ85, and then it just really took off from there. She really enjoyed doing that. She had a little Polini 50 that she was ripping. She outgrew that, and that's when she bumped it up to the YZ85, and she still rips a YZ. I think it's a 125 now, but she became very serious with racing, and she really wanted to get to nationals. So while she was ripping that 85, her father, Grant's brother, saw a lot more potential in her, so she started going to these racing schools and really hitting it hard, and she ended up winning a lot of qualifiers and winning a lot of races, and in 2013 she became qualified for the Loretta Lynn Nationals, which is a big racing event. Travis Pastrana has raced there. They do ATVs and dirt bikes there, so she qualified for nationals there, which is a huge achievement. Unfortunately, she did get some injuries. I'm not sure if she got injured at that race, but she did have some injuries. However, she placed 24th in the nation for her class the first time that she qualified, which is amazing. That's incredible, really. And after the injuries and whatnot, she had, that slowed her down a little bit. She worked her ass off again, qualified a second time, and placed around that same area, probably around 24th in the nation for her class, which is absolutely outstanding. So it's just really cool to see that everybody in Grant's family is into racing, and he's got a really special connection with his niece because of it. Now, she also got into vintage racing. As I showed you guys that RM125, the 1979, that's actually her dirt bike, the one that now matches Grant's. And she was racing at a track, and I guess one of the local guys came up to her and asked if she'd be interested in racing in the vintage series. She got to ride I think it was a Husky 125, a 1970s Husky. It wasn't hers. They let her run it, and she really enjoyed it. So that's when she got the opportunity to buy the 79 RM125. Absolutely loved it. You can see some pictures of her ripping the vintage series, and I actually have a whole shot. You can see her getting the whole shot and ripping around the track on the RM125. It's pretty cool. So something I did want to mention first off is that it's just super impressive that Khari was able to get to the level that she did. I think a lot of people don't even realize how much work these guys and girls put in to making it to a national level, whether it's amateur or pro in any sport. It's just the amount of work that goes into becoming a professional at anything. I just think a lot of people don't realize how hard these people work. She was going to special schools, and she was probably riding so much to be able to get to where she was. So she definitely has a crazy work ethic. And one thing Grant said that I wanted to read here, he says, like any kind of sports, it has its ups and downs. Probably a lot more injuries than most sports because of being a little higher risk. Even with the injuries, she always comes back and doesn't give up on the sport that she absolutely loves. She has her whole moto family of friends too from it. I don't think most kids her age realize the determination and hard work it takes to make it to the level she was running at. I can't express how proud I am of her and how great it is to see someone have such drive and make her goals come true. I don't have kids myself besides my dogs, but I treat her like my own. So I just think this is a really cool story. I think it's really inspirational. I like to see that the sport really has made a strong bond with their family. I think that's really cool. So I just want to commend Grant and his niece for taking the time to send this stuff in and share this story with everybody. I think it's really inspirational, and hopefully it can inspire some of you guys too. So definitely let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of these RMs, and if you have racing experience and how you grew up racing and whatnot. People like to see those stories, so definitely share a comment in the comment section below. If you guys are enjoying this content, please give me a thumbs up. That helps out a lot. And we will have a video very shortly here, kind of just giving you guys an update of what's going on in the shop and what's happening with the 250R, because I know a lot of people are very curious why the progress has just kind of ceased with that. It's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating, but hopefully that will be getting picked up here in the next few weeks. So stay safe, guys, and we're going to make it through this corona stuff. It's definitely starting to eat at some of us. It's time to get out, man. I want to go riding. I want to take that Maverick running, man. Should have the temperature sensor in the next day or so, and that thing's done. It's going to be completely done. I cannot wait to rip that thing. I just did the suspension yesterday, just tuning it, and it was totally whack. Everything on that machine was whack. If you guys are new to the channel, definitely check out the Maverick series. It's totally botched side-by-side that we completely revamped, and it's nice and solid now. All right, guys, I appreciate all you. Peace out.